Hello everybody and welcome back to Hardcore Harry Reviews Some Shit. So the shit we're reviewing today is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. As you can see, no glasses, got some new contacts, so I know it's hard to believe, but I'm even prettier than I already was. Anyway, so a few hours ago I got back from seeing Guardians, I know. Much later than I wanted to. I was hoping to go the night of, but things came up, didn't get a chance to. But still, finally got to see it, and man, it is awesome. I was originally going to do like a, what's good and what's bad, but there really isn't anything bad, so that format doesn't work. So we're gonna break it down to segments. We're gonna start with the cast. Now, there's not a whole lot I can say about the cast. All the major players came back, and they all still did a phenomenal job. Batista kind of stole the show as Drax a little bit, He kind of came out of it a little more. He was more, comedic, and it worked really well. Baby Groot, a lot of people thought that, he stole the show. Honestly, I had to give the show stealer to Drax. I mean, he was so funny. Like, he was there, even in the comedic moments, he just made it funnier. So I have to go with him being, the one that stole the show, but... New members of the cast, we have Kurt Russell as Ego the Living Planet. He did a very good job of the role. He made you like him, but like he still gave that kind of hint of something's not quite right here. Why does he want Star-Lord to come back all of a sudden? But he gave the impression like, this guy's likable. He's pretty good. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. There's something fishy here, but he doesn't seem like an overall bad guy. And then boom, from out of nowhere, it turns out he's an a-hole. But he continues to do a good job playing the a-hole. Kurt Russell's a very good actor. He can play a good guy, he can play a bad guy very easily, and he did both in this movie. He did them spectacularly. It's no secret that Michael Rooker can act. He's a great actor, and he was very good in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, but in this one, he really, really came out. He's another one kind of stole the show. Overall, I still give it to Drax, but he kind of stole the show, and his character just, was built upon and made even better. And it's kind of stuff like they hinted at in the first one. Like, you kind of saw it. You're like, yeah, he's really not that bad of a guy. He is a good guy deep down. And this, this one, you see that. You see that he's not just a good guy deep down. He is completely a good guy. And he did a spectacular job. And it sucks. I don't want to go too much into spoilers here if you haven't seen the movie, but I'm going to give you one here. He does die. And, man, after that performance... I just mind blown. I am so upset that he died. I thought like, it's going to be a trick out death, and which kind of would upset me too, because why waste a trick out death like that? But it wasn't. He actually died, and as much as it's upsetting me because I want to see that Yondu that we finally got, further on, but it was great. Like, there's nobody else you could really pick to die and have it be that impactful. And also not completely crush the story. It was emotional. I'm not going to lie, I got a little teary-eyed at the end there, especially when all the Ravagers came together and gave him a Ravager funeral. And it's powerful, I tell you that much. It is very powerful. Bring some Kleenex. I got teary-eyed. I didn't cry. I don't cry. All right? Let the record show Hardcore Harry's hardcore. He doesn't cry. But I did get a little teary-eyed. And it was upsetting. But like I said... it wasn't just upsetting because the character died. It's upsetting because you don't get to see him in the next movie because he just finally broke free of that role. He broke out with it, and it was awesome. Had a couple cameos that I actually didn't know about either. I hadn't really been keeping up with it a whole lot. I hadn't had a whole lot of time, so I haven't been keeping up with who's in it and what's going to happen like I usually do. So I was surprised that Sylvester Stallone was in it, and even more surprised when Ving Rhames was in it. But both played good parts. Ving, you really didn't get to see a whole lot of it, and Sly, you really didn't either, but I love Sly. He's awesome, and he was awesome in this movie. Little Easter egg about that, something I didn't know about, so I never really followed the comic book series. So before the movie, I really didn't know a whole lot about the Guardians, which is kind of good. Those movies I tend to like a lot more. Like Thor, I never really got a whole lot into Thor in the comics, and his movies are awesome. It's kind of cool when you don't know you know the backstory, but it's kind of cool when you don't know a whole lot about the comics, and it kind of makes the movie better too, because you're not sitting there, picking out nitpicking stuff like that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. So you kind of have a fresh outlook on it. But like I said, I didn't know a whole lot about Guardians, so I didn't realize that. And I think it was 2008. That's the current incarnation of the Guardians. They did not show up till 2008. For 40 some years, there was the original Guardians, which had Sly's character. So he actually, I didn't know that, but he actually is somebody. That's one of the end credit scenes was a little Easter egg showing them say, it sucks that Yondu died, but without that we wouldn't have got back together. So they all got back together, the original Guardians. So I'm hoping, I doubt it's going to happen. It's probably a cool little Easter egg, but I'm hoping they show up. Maybe they even get their own movie series because they're really cool. I'd love to see Sly more in the Marvel Universe, but like I said, that was a really awesome Easter egg. I didn't know that. So for big fans of the Guardians comic books, they got a real special treat there. And for me to read about it after, because I had to look it up, I'm like, why is this impactful? But for me to look at it after, I was like, wow, that's freaking awesome. I wish I knew that before. Another character cameo I didn't know about, because I didn't really know a whole lot about it, is Mainframe. The Ravager's ship computer. Turns out he's actually in the original Guardians as well. He's a 31st century version of Vision. So he becomes, the main computer for them in the 31st century. So I doubt that Mainframe in the movie universe has anything to do with Vision of the movie universe, but it's still pretty cool. And it was actually voiced by Miley Cyrus, which was surprising. I didn't pick up on that, and I didn't even know about it. I didn't think to know about it, but that was pretty cool when I looked up. That was another cool cameo and nice little thing they threw in there. Like I said, for fans of the comics, it's a really nice bonus, and they picked up on it right away. For me, it's still awesome to look back at it, to read after it and look at it and say, wow, that's awesome, and I wish I would have known that before. But still, it's really cool, and like I said, it does have its benefits sometimes to not be super familiar with the comic before the movie comes out, because you do have a fresh perspective on it. You're not looking for them. You're not looking for things that they're going to do wrong or right. You're just looking to see if it's a good movie, and you're kind of unbiased there. It gives you a fresher outlook on it, but still, I kind of wish I'd known a little more about it going into this, because Sly would have been a much bigger impact for me. Next up, I'm going to get into the graphics. Just touch on them briefly, the special effects. I'm not a huge fan of CGI still. I'm just old school, but I prefer stop motion and claymation and all that. But still, CGI has come a long way since its beginnings, and it's the norm for Hollywood now. So I'm not complaining about it. I'm just letting it be known that I normally prefer stop motion. But hey, whatever it is, what it is, that's how it's done now, and it's come a long way since its beginning. CGI actually looks, for the most part, most of the time, realistic. Especially on the big screen, it looks good. A lot of movies, especially Marvel movies, when you get them home, pop in the Blu-ray, sometimes you kind of notice, oh wow, that doesn't look so good at home. But on the big screen, it looks good, and it's come a long way even then. So for the most part, most movies look good, even on at home on your own TV on Blu-ray. That being said, the graphics were awesome, just like in the other Guardians and pretty much every Marvel movie of recent times. They did just a great job overall. They did some unique things with weaponry and stuff like that, but they did a great job. It looks really good. The ships look good. They did a good job of setting up the interior of the ships, the exterior of the ships. Ego as a planet looks great. The caverns, the top, everything about it looks great. So, like I said, I'm only going to touch briefly on it, but I'm not a huge fan of CGI still, but it is the norm, and they did a great job with the graphics. Next up, the most important part of any movie, the story. I gotta say, they knocked it out of the park with this one. It's even better than the first movie. Just everything. Like I don't even know where to start. Just everything. From Nebula and Gamora's story, to Peter and his father's story, to Rocket and Groot, and kind of how the relationship switched from just Groot watching Rocket's back all the time and watching over him, to Rocket protecting Groot and being like a father figure to him. It was awesome. Even it showed some dissension between the team, and it showed the dissension between the Ravagers. Like Yondu's story was great. Yondu's story really, I think is going to be underrated. Like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about his story, but his was great. There could have been a whole movie about that alone. Now, a lot of people think that Baby Groot stole the show. I think Drax still did overall, but how they did Baby Groot's story was actually really awesome. So I was kind of thinking, in the first one, he'd grow up to a full-size adult Groot by the second movie, which that didn't happen. So I was a little iffy at first. I was like, is this them just putting a little cutesy spin on it? But it was hilarious. It was cute, but it was hilarious on top of it. And it was just interesting how they did it. He's still Groot, but he's a baby again. And his and Rocket's relationship and how they put that together, it was awesome. It wasn't still, Rocket, being protected by Groot. It wasn't Rocket saying, it's my buddy Groot. It was, that's Groot. I protect Groot. And it worked out. And just the Gamora and the Nebula storyline just was really awesome. They didn't cover a whole lot of it, but it was awesome. You kind of see a different side of Nebula. You see a more human side, and you see the reason that she is the way she is. She hates her father. She was obedient, so she didn't get killed, but she hates her father, and she wants revenge on him. And you don't really realize it, but the reason she went through a lot of what she did was because of Gamora. Gamora and Nebula would fight. They would be, Thanos would make them fight, and when Gamora would win, he'd replace another part of Nebula with robotics, and that's the reason why Nebula is the way she is, because she was constantly beaten time and time again by Gamora, and she was subjected to the pain from Thanos because of that, and that's why she kind of resents Gamora. She loves her, and she likes her sister and everything, but she resents her for that, and you kind of see now why is, because it kind of makes sense. It's like they seemed like sisters. They seemed like they were fine with each other. Why all of a sudden is Nebula so obsessed with killing Gamora? And that's why in her mind it was she wanted a sister, and what she got was somebody who defeated her time and time again, which caused her even further pain from her father. One thing I really liked that they did, and it was really cool, was that even though it's the main center point of the story, Peter and Ego's storyline didn't take up the whole movie. It wasn't just the Peter and Ego story. It was everybody. Everybody got their backstory explained a little better. Everybody, you got insight into why everybody is the way they are, and that was really cool. Everybody got equal time with it. They each got their own little part of the story. It wasn't just centered around Peter and Ego. Now, with all that, I did kind of worry, because it was getting close to the end of the movie. I'm like, they really haven't gotten to Peter and Ego that much yet. Just been kind of talking. So, it wasn't rushed. It kind of was, but it really wasn't. It made sense why. So, kind of like, well, why does Ego rush in? He doesn't know who this person is. He doesn't know it's really his father. But, I mean, he kind of knows. He knows. And he was leery at first. Gamora kind of talked him into it. But he knows, and if you were in his situation, wouldn't you really do the same thing? He grew up his whole life wanting a father. He made up that his father was David Hasselhoff. And he finally has the chance to have that father. And Yondu was it, but he didn't really realize it until it was too late. But, he finally meets his blood father, and he jumped at the chance. He wants him to come home with him. So he goes home with him. He figures, whatever, it doesn't hurt to go and at least try. And, he didn't really realize the danger he was getting into, but things expedited pretty quickly from there, but it made sense. At that point, Ego knows that he's not going to be able to keep Peter there forever. He knows that he probably can't keep them there much longer, because he's a guardian of the galaxy, man. He has things to do, he has shit to do, he has people to save. He can't just hang on this planet the whole time, so he kind of expedites it and tap on the forehead and brainwashes him a little bit, and then he says the stupid thing of, it killed me to put that brain tumor in your mother, and wrong thing to say to Peter, because that just made him snap and lose control. And Ego, kind of tried to take control of him, say, you know what, you'll just be a battery then, that's fine. But it was rushed, but it wasn't. It felt more rushed from a storyline purpose, these events are going fast because Ego knows they need to go a little faster or he's going to lose his opportunity. So, it was great. Like I said, it was kind of rushed, but it worked the way they did it, and it was worth it because everybody got their own little piece of the story. Now, I know that I originally said, I wasn't going to do a good and a bad, because there really wasn't anything bad to talk about, but there is just one bad thing I want to go into. And it wasn't even necessarily bad, but the multiple end credit scenes. From the Marvel universe, you kind of used to a funny ending and an ending that kind of, either sets up for the next Guardians movie or at least the next Marvel movie. And they really didn't do that. It was all a bunch of funny bonus endings. And they were hilarious and they were great. I loved them. But I just was kind of hoping for at least one that kind of set up a little more for what's going to happen next. Now, I thought it was really cool that they put Stan Lee in end credit. Like, that was cool. I think they kind of wasted the watchers with it. They're pretty impactful. So, to have them just kind of like in a comedic relief capacity there, it was kind of like, eh. Now, they did rush off somewhere, which showed that, yeah, there was something important going on somewhere. But if you're not a fan of Marvel, or you don't know who the Watchers are, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to you. You don't look at that and say, oh, wow, something important's going on. And you're just like, why are these blue guys? These blue guys just don't want to talk to Stan Lee anymore. Okay, whatever. But, like, being a fan, or even just reading into it afterwards, like, wow, that actually is impactful. But at the time, especially for non-fans, non-normal fans of the Marvel Universe, they don't really get that. It's not really impactful. It just seems like a bunch of blue guys that are sick of talking to Stan Lee. That being said, like I said, not bad. Not bad at all. They were still hilarious. I still love the end credits. I wish they would have did one that kind of set up more to another movie. Overall, I gotta say, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, 2 thumbs up. Awesome shit. Like I said, the story, everything was great. The story was wonderful, and I loved how they, gave everybody equal story time, and the comedic value was there. It's honestly a lot darker than the first one, but you're still laughing. You're constantly laughing. It's like, and it's not in a hokey kind of way. It's just the jokes, they fit, they work, and just it works for that style of movie, and it's hilarious. One of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Maybe I just, I don't know if I'm a fanboy or something, but like, I'm cracking up at everything they're saying, and everybody else in the theater is just like, I think there's a couple times they're laughing, but like, I'm busting out laughing with Drax, and they're all like, hey. So maybe I just saw something funny that wasn't funny, but like I said, to me, anyway, one of the funniest movies I've seen, one of the best movies I've seen. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and drop me a like. If you really liked it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of cool things coming up, a lot of things I'm real excited about, so hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. You'll be first there to see it as soon as it comes out. Also, I'd love to hear what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, drop some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Maybe we agree, maybe we disagree. I'm curious to see what you guys think about it, and let me know if maybe I missed something. There could be something that I completely missed that you picked up on, so drop that down below too. All that being said, don't just have a great day. Have a hardcore day.